Commercial real estate news for a closer look at the market.
Здравствуйте. Российский рынок недвижимости до сих пор не понимает, что такое green development. Почему без этого нельзя будет обойтись через несколько лет, нам расскажет генеральный директор MEP-Engineering Адриан Салтер. Адриан, здравствуйте.
Добрый день.
Несколько лет назад в России начали говорить о зеленом девелопменте. Говорили о нем как о новшестве. О нем и сегодня говорят как о новшестве, хотя прошло уже достаточное количество лет. Почему в России не приживается?
The short answer, it's taken many years in the West for the local governments of different countries to make the necessary changes in the legislation that required for the developers to create buildings that were more energy efficient.
В России, получается, нет никаких законов для того, чтобы зеленый девелопмент, так скажем, пошел в массы.
Everyone will have read in the papers and will have heard various statements from Russian government officials that they require for green buildings, energy-efficient buildings to be created. And now there is a draft law being passed through the stages of the Duma.
29 октября состоится Конгресс по зеленому девелопменту. Ваши цели, которые вы хотите достичь благодаря этому Конгрессу?
As you rightly said, during the last 2 and maybe longer years in Moscow and in Russia, many people, many industry experts have been talking about green buildings, but nothing really has happened. Now is the time to take action, and the developers, the investors, the general contractors and the end users, they need useful information, real knowledge of how to create a green building. The conference, the logic will go from legislation, taxation, international experience. We will then go into technical solutions from very famous companies like Ovarup and Partners and Bura Happold, very famous engineering companies who have provided green technology solutions for buildings in the West, and they'll be talking about real solutions that can be applied for buildings here in Russia. The end of the presentation will give a couple of case studies of companies in America who've actually created green buildings and are operational, and they will talk about how the savings they have with the energy efficiency. And our very last presentation will be from the company IKEA, and everyone reads in the media the difficulties that they have with connection to the utilities with the local authorities, and IKEA will be talking about the techniques that they will apply now to their existing megas to make them more energy efficient, and how they hope to transfer some of their energy requirements away from the oil and gas and onto renewables like solar, like wind and like biofuels.
Вы говорите, что российскому рынку недвижимости необходимо разъяснять, что такое green development. Но почему опять разъяснять?
The short answer, developers working in Russia, they understand that there is additional capital investment to create a green building. They know that it will cost them a little bit more, sometimes a lot more, sometimes it will be a saving in the construction. And they need to understand what are the correct solutions that they must apply in their projects so that they deliver to the market the new quality of office, shopping centre, logistics, hotel buildings that is demanded by the economy during the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years.
Как вы думаете, после Конгресса будут ли сдвиги как раз в сторону зеленого девелопмента?
We won't see immediate results because the financial crisis in the world at the moment means that the liquidity is not moving down from the banking sector to the developers to the providers. But during this time of crisis, companies are restructuring their business, re-evaluating their priorities, and they know that when the money does start to move through the economy, they will be in a position then to offer to design, construct and deliver buildings of a higher quality, and this means green, energy efficient buildings.
Обязательно ли экологичное означает дорогое?
Not everything for a green building will cost more money. A very simple example, when the auditors from a certified organisation like BREEAM or LEED or other international organisations who provide certificates, when they do an audit of your building, they can ask questions like, how does your general contractor deal with the rubbish that's created on the construction site during the process? If the general contractor just packages up the rubbish, takes it away to the regular place where they dig the hole and bury it, the building will get less points. If the contractor commits to package the rubbish and take it to a recycling plant, it will get extra points. So for the developer and the investor, it doesn't necessarily cost more money, but they just must control that their general contractor during construction is actually being clean and responsible with the way they deal with the rubbish. Another way for savings, green buildings receive additional points if you have utilised materials that are created locally. So, for example, rather than importing timber from Canada, you would use timber from the far east of Russia for constructing your buildings. Because if the product has travelled a less distance, it means that the transportation, there has been less carbon dioxide emitted into the atmosphere to get that product to the site. Now, this doesn't mean that the product is more expensive. The product might be cheaper if it's locally sourced, and so you will get points and it's a cheaper product. So you can actually save money by specifying products from the local market.
Commercial real estate news for a closer look at the market.
А в России есть хотя бы один пример зеленого строительства? Или, может быть, у вас есть какие-то наработки на будущее?
Okay. From my understanding, at the moment, there is only one building in Russia that has actually close to achieving international certification. This is the Ducat 3 building near to Maikovska. I understand that they are talking with the BREEAM certification system from the United Kingdom, and that building is being audited now and should very soon have its official certification. What level of certification it will receive, I don't know, but at least they have implemented some green solutions so that they can get the building certified. I also know that the AIG Lincoln complex up on Belaruskaya, that the first building, the White Squares, has been designed to achieve certain standards of energy efficiency, but I do not think that they will go for the certification. But the second building, which will be constructed, the White Gardens, is targeting to be certified by the BREEAM organisation. The other thing I can mention, the buildings that have been developed in Moscow during the last 10 years, for example, Avrora Business Centre, Krylatsky Hills, Silver City, Mirex Plaza, I know personally from my own experience that we have applied some energy-saving solutions.
Постоянно упоминаются два слова вместе – green и sustainable. Почему они упоминаются вместе и есть ли между ними разница?
What I can say very briefly for the audience, everything that people have heard about this subject is connected to a building being green, to be energy efficient, to have a minimum negative effect on the environment of the planet. The word sustainable comes from the word sustain. The word sustain means basically to maintain. So when we talk about green, we're talking about creating a building now that does not have an immediate negative impact on the environment. When we talk about sustainable, we talk about the way that building will perform over many years. And examples of sustainable is technology like creating electricity from the wind turbines, or maybe electricity from solar, or maybe creating heating from the building from the thermal mass, the geothermal system in the ground. These solutions are naturally available to us, and it doesn't require us to burn oil and gas, because we know that oil and gas is a limited resource. So this is a sustainable future for a building.
Успехов вам!
Спасибо.
Спасибо вам! Вы действительно хотите быть первыми? Тогда используйте новые технологии уже сегодня. Оставляйте свои вопросы и комментарии на нашем сайте CRE.ru. Мы с вами прощаемся. Всего доброго, до свидания.